Starting at the beginning, I worked for corporate America for 20 years, and I was always gone. I was always on a plane or in a car or just away from my family. Like every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was gone. Okay. And didn't see my family. I was working for Citigroup, and, Citigroup's a phenomenal company. I was with them for 10 years of my career, of the 20 years. I was with them for 10 years. I was promoted to be the national sales trainer. So I went around to different cities and I trained people to do what I do. Okay. And in 2008, we all know what happened. We were the big banks that couldn't fail, which Citi was one of them. They said, we're too big to fail, and they were wrong. And so all of the banks got bailed out. The car companies got bailed out. Everybody got bailed out. But what happened was the people who had put in the time and the energy into these companies got laid off. Okay. So the day that we received our TARP money from the government, okay, we got bailed out from the government. They called it TARP money. The day we received it, I'm on vacation, and I'm on my way to the airport to pick up a friend of mine. She comes in every year. We go to, do girly things like pedicures and manicures, and we go to the Southern Women's Show, and we just have a blast. And I'm on my way to pick her up, and I get an email, and it has a conference call number and a pen and a time. And so I call my manager and I said, I'm on vacation. Do I really need to be on this call? And he goes, we don't know what it's about. So can you hop on? So I pulled over into one of our main branches in their parking lot. I didn't go in. I sat in my car and I had my on speakerphone, and the guy's name was Mike. He was the vice president of our division, which was the auto division of Citigroup. And he said, and I'll never forget this. I mean, it was just like, this is crazy. I have good news and I have bad news. They said the good news is if you're on this call, you're safe. The bad news is there's another call going on simultaneously. We're closing all of the branches and buying centers west of the Mississippi River, and we're laying off half the sales staff. And I was devastated because these people had all been through my workshop. I knew them all. They were all friends of mine. And so for them to just say, you're gone, and do it through a conference call, I mean, that was crazy. So it happened again twice. I made it all the way up until 2009. My position was eliminated in 2009, but they kept me on with the company under a regional manager position. So again, I'm on the road for 4,000 miles a month, and this time I'm driving. And, at least before I got to fly. And it was still taking me away from my family. So on Friday, we get a phone call, and it says, on Monday morning, expect a call from HR. Okay, so what does that mean? You're getting laid off, right? And I knew it was happening. I knew that the boat was sinking, but I didn't really know how to get off the boat. So right about that same time, at the end of 2009, that Monday, I got the phone call, and they said, we're going to go ahead. This was the end of October. We're going to go ahead and pay you October, November, December, just like you were working. Okay. So I got almost 3 months. And then I got 2 weeks for every year I'd been with the company severance package. So I got 20 weeks of severance package. So I had money, it was okay. But that money runs out pretty quickly. But in late 2009, I got a call from Cheryl Ann Gober, and I know you know who she is. Cheryl Ann brought carrot bars to the English-speaking nations, okay? So her husband called me in late 2009, and he said, if I asked you to save a gram of gold a month, would you? And I said, sure. I'd been in business with him before. He was actually one of my car dealerships that did their financing through Citigroup. We were friends. I really didn't know Cheryl Ann as well as I knew him. He said, okay, I'll call you back. Okay. So we started this business truly on a cocktail napkin, just writing people's names down, our warm market. Who should we talk to about this? And then Cheryl Ann and I got really fancy, and we moved it to an Excel spreadsheet. So we're building this company deep. Okay. We're not taking any personally sponsored people. We're just building it deep. And you know, the welcome emails you get, like, hey, you know, welcome to Carrot Bars and all of that stuff. And then your sponsor gets one, you have a new partner in your downline. We were manually sending those out. And a year later, we look up and there's 20,000 people on the list. We still have not launched as a company. The money was running out and I was scared to death. So in 2011, we launched. I had taken a job making, I mean, I made great money at Citigroup. I was making about $100,000 to $150,000 a year, depending on commissions. And I took a job making $30,000 a year. So my husband owned his own business, but a lot of the money that he made from his business had to go directly back into the business. So we were struggling. Okay, I'm struggling to keep the lights on. We're about to lose our house. I mean, things were bad. So we launched in 2011. I am so excited, guys, that, here we are. We put in the work. We haven't made any money for an entire year. And now we're launching with 20,000 people on my team, right? My first paycheck, because back then we only had the unilevel. And remember, we built deep. We didn't take personally sponsored people. If you knew how many people I'd personally sponsored in this business, you would laugh. And it's under 100. So, and most people are like, God, 300-400 people. I'm less than 100. So the first pay run came and went, and it was the unilevel plan. And my first paycheck was €34. So I went into my prayer closet and I said some words in that prayer closet that probably should not have been said in that prayer closet. And so I had to throw some holy water in it and brush it out with some sage and apologize to God on what I said, because here I'd put a year of my life into this business for €34. And financially things are so bad. So I finally got a break in May of 2012. We actually did go through bankruptcy, and people say, why do you tell people that? I said, it's part of my story. So in 2012, we went through this bankruptcy. We, it wasn't something I was proud, but it was something that had to be done. And so then I finally get a break. And in May of 2012, I got another one of those jobs with a big bank that couldn't fail, right? But I never knew which day was going to be my last. So I started with them 2012. I get a phone call in June of 2013. Cheryl Ann calls and she says, you have to come back. And I thought she meant church, because I didn't know. And then she says, you have to come back to Carrot Bars. Everything's changed. And I said, honey, I can't. And I said, I'm not even allowed to say the word Carrot Bars in my own home. And she said, nothing else matters. Get a package. So I did. And I had the package delivered to her house, because if I'd had it delivered here, there would be a sheriff showing up, with divorce papers. So I went over to her house a couple weeks later. I pick it up, and I had made enough money at the time to go ahead, because I started with the gold package, because that's all the money I had. And I'd made enough to upgrade to the VIP package. Went ahead and did it and forgot that FedEx delivers this to your house, right? So the day they delivered it, it was raining. My husband owned a landscaping business, so he wasn't working. So I come bebopping through the door, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, honey? And he said, you have something from FedEx. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, I don't know. He said, who's it from? He said, it's from Carrot Bars. And I said, oh, let's open it up. Let's see what it is. So I open it up, and it's this beautiful VIP package. And I said, honey, will you take a look at this? I had made VIP with Carrot Bars, and look what they sent me. Like, I didn't pay for it, right? And he's like, he's mad. He's got his arms crossed, and he's walking around the kitchen island. And he said, you promised me. And he said, you promised me that you would do nothing other than work a job. And I said, I understand that. And then I tried to start explaining to him about Cheryl Ann and the pay plan, and he doesn't want to hear any of it. And he's mad. And I said, all right, listen to this. So I take my phone, and I put it on speakerphone, and I called PFS, which is Prepaid Financial Services. They service our debit card. You can put in your card number and your PIN and press option 2, or press option 2 first, and your PIN number and your card, and it tells you what your balance is. And he says, well, what is that? And I said, well, that's in euros, so you can convert it to US dollars, which at the time was about $1.26. And he goes, I know that, but where'd it come from? And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that word in this house. And so he kind of laughed, and he walked around a little bit, and I said, so what do you think? He said, go for it. So about 3 months later, that was June. So July, August, 4 months later, we had our first freedom celebration in Nashville. When I had been talking to a friend of mine in Australia, and we'd been talking about, when do I leave corporate America? Because I was so scared to give up that guarantee, give up the health insurance, give up every 2 weeks I get paid, give up the company car, right? I mean, if I quit my job, I have no car. So he said to me, when you do it, the air will be crisper, food will taste better, everything in your life will change. And so that Saturday night, I was called up on stage to receive some award, and I just did it. I said, guys, I can tell myself anything, but if I tell you, you have to hold me accountable. So in October of 2009, corporate America laid me off, and Monday morning, corporate America is getting laid off. And I turned in my resignation. They actually paid me for a couple of weeks that I didn't even work, which was great. And I've been full-time ever since. And that was October of 2013. I've never looked back. I've never thought for a moment that I've fallen and bumped my head. I have created so many great relationships with people all over the world that I never would have known. I get to do these world tour events, which were amazing. We start over in January. I'm like, all right, I need a couple months to rest. Just like this morning, I got up and I worked for a few hours, and I was so tired. And I just went up and snuggled up in my bed, and I slept for 3 hours. If I was working a corporate job, I couldn't do that. I just slept for 3 hours, and I had a doctor's appointment at 2:30. And my husband's like, are you going to go to the doctor today? And I just had a physical. And I'm like, holy crap. So I'm up, I'm getting ready, and I get to the doctor. I get home, I've got 1,000 Skype messages and Facebook messages and all that stuff. So we got it done. I had my alarm set for you guys. And, just know that this company at this point, I have never been more excited about it because of the things that we're doing. We have created our own financial universe. Okay. We get gold. We get paid in gold. We get paid in euro. We have cryptocurrencies. We have the first fully licensed cryptocurrency bank in Miami, which once it's fully operational, all of us are going to be able to open accounts there. We don't need to deal with our local banks any longer. We can deal with them. We can do credit cards, debit cards, checking accounts, savings accounts, whatever we want to do. We're all going to get paid, and people in our downline do that because the fees from the bank, 50% of the fees go out to buy more gold. What does the gold do? The gold backs up the KBC. What happens to the price of the KBC? It goes up. Okay. When the price of the KBC goes up, the price of the KCB goes up. I'm going to tell you guys one thing. Dirk Zalman is a genius. Okay. Now he's had a lot of help. Marvin Steinberg, a couple of other people, and I can't remember their name because I just met them in Miami. But they're geniuses. They have taken this company to a level that I never thought it would be. But you all know that I do Tuesdays with Tammy. Okay. I do every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central. My webinar is all about getting back to the basics, because this is what we've been doing for 7 years. Okay. Me 5 years full time, but getting back to the basics of what we do, which is teaching people how to save correctly. And Boomer always said, how do you save correctly? Make sure it's not made out of paper. Okay. Make sure it's made out of gold. So it's been an exciting ride. We're just getting started. I mean, we have over 500,000 registered affiliates. But if I had to guess, I would say 20 to 30% of them are actually involved in active in Carrot Bars. So if you take 20% of 500,000, you got 100,000 people. There's billions of people in this world that we need to tell. So that's our job, is just to tell the people. We don't convince. We don't persuade. We just inform. And that's all we do. We teach people how to save correctly.
So we have a fellow on the call that I met tonight for the first time, and he was telling me that he invested some money in a company, a lot of money. And the company, he said, man, I saw the red flags, but it was too late and my money was gone. I kicked myself. I personally lost a lot of money with the company that I trusted last year. So if somebody's watching this for the first time and they're saying, I don't know if I trust anybody. I'm just going to keep my money in the bank because I trust the bank.
Right.
That's their mentality. What would be your response towards somebody that's just looking at this and not sure if they should trust it?
Right, exactly. And we have those people, and it's okay. And it's okay not to trust, and it's okay to do your research. Here's the thing. We're an 8-year-old company, okay? We own everything. We just bought another gold mine in Ghana. Okay, it's paid for. Everything we have is paid for. The bank is paid for. It already has $100 million in deposits into the bank. The gold mine in Madagascar, it's paid for. We're completely debt free. We're not going anywhere. However, I understand that people have concerns, but you really cannot get hurt with carrot bars. Okay, so this is what I ask people, and this is what I talk about in my webinars on Tuesday. If you decide that you just want to come in and just be a free affiliate or a customer and save as little or as much gold as you want to save, that's the whole premise of carrot bars, is saving in gold, right? Okay, so some people say, well, what if the building burns down? Well, first of all, our vault, I've been one of a few people that have actually been in the vault. It adheres to every standard that a vault has to have in order to be fireproof and things like that. The reality is 95% of our people get their gold delivered to their house. Okay, put it in a safe. Mine's next to my safe, next to my shotgun and my bulldogs. So don't even try to come get it. Now, if you choose to work this as a business, okay, you need to decide 2 questions. Answer 2 questions to yourself. How much money do I want to make? And what makes financial sense for me and my family? Okay. So you have a bronze package is 135 euro. Okay. If you have a bronze package at 135 euro and you directly sign up a VIP, you almost made your money back. You can't get hurt. Okay. And then you've got the silver, the gold, the VIP. What makes sense to you and how much money do you want to make? So that's the only time you spend money with carrot bars is when you're buying your business package. That's it. You never spend another dime. Okay. We have the premium professionals, and those are what they are. There's going to be some things coming down the road that I can't talk about yet, that are going to make those even more beneficial. As far as the coins go, I mean, guys, we have the only coin backed by gold. We just bought another gold mine to back it up even more. When you go into your back office and you look under general and downloads and presentations and really read that, the coin explanation, it says something like World Tour 2018 coin explanation. When you really see how we've created that financial universe, I can't guarantee, I don't have a crystal ball that, people are that our coins are going to go to the moon, but I have no reason to doubt that they won't.
That's right.
So I've got to take that risk. And I think it's a risk worth taking. I've lost a lot of money over the years. I get it. I do. But if someone wants to come in and work the business, get a business package, work the business, make your commissions, use your commissions to buy coins, you can't lose that way, right? So just understand that everything we have, we're a completely debt-free company. They own everything down to the cars they drive. Nothing, there's no debt anywhere. The building, the Carrot Bars building that you see, it's a real building. I've been in it. I mean, it's huge. It's paid for. It's across the street from the Mercedes-Benz headquarters. We're outgrowing it. We're going to have to get another bigger building. I think that there are a lot of companies out there that have done some things that have caused people to lose faith. But if you knew the heart of Harold Seitz and you knew the vision of Dirk Zalman, which I'm very, very close to both of them, if you knew what I knew, then you would know that this is the best thing out there. And as Boomer always says, there is nothing else. And, I don't want to lose my money, but I think I put my money in a smart enough place that I will double, triple, quadruple it 10 times. I don't know. I can't tell you. However, I know the heart of Harold, and I know the vision of Dirk. And I know the vision of the people behind the scenes. And, when you have billionaires that are buying, gold mines for us, obviously we're doing something right?
Let me ask you, I'm sure you're planning to work this business. You said you're 52 years old, and I just turned 50, by the way, last week.
Congratulations. Last month, Welcome to the 50s.
Back, it was a month ago today, I turned 50. I'm sure you're planning to work this business till you turn 65, and when you turn 65, you're going to quit and draw Social Security. Am I correct?
No. I'm going to work this
business. Do. That's what we're told. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
And go on Social Security. Don't rock the boat.
No, I'm rocking the boat. I done blew the boat up. Here's my plan. I have a plan. Okay. Taylor's 12. Okay. In 6 years, she'll be 18. Okay. She's taking over my Karatbars account. I'll split the money with her, but there'll be so much residual income at the time. My daughter will never work a job. My 23-year-old only worked a job for a year and a half. So once she graduated college, she got one job. She hated it. She got another job. She hated it. She wasn't used. I paid $60,000 for her to go through college, and she's not using anything of her degree. I paid $50,000 to send my son through college, and he's a ski bum in Breckenridge. So she's not going to college, and she's not going to work a job. Karatbars is our life. And I can, you can will your business to someone else. So I'm willing my business to her if something were to happen to me. That way she'll always be taken care of. She knows this business more than most people do. She could have done this webinar for me. Let me put it that way.
In Social Security, I get asked this question a lot. So if I die before I turn 65, what happens to that money?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The government keeps it. Nobody gets any of it. And I try to tell people, folks, quit thinking socialism, quit thinking the government's going to take care of you, and you got to be completely independent. And if you die before you turn 65, your family's going to get your business. If you live to be 95, you're still going to have income that's coming in from something other than the government. And then when you die, they get the business. They get everything that you have accomplished. So if somebody is, let's say, 70 years old, but they're healthy and want something to do, and they realize their Social Security check's not working, they can go to work with Karatbars, create an income that they don't need their Social Security anymore, could care less about it, and leave it for their kids.
Right. Leave it for their children. I told my kids, I said, when I pass on, there's not going to be a will. Okay. Now I do, because, our house is paid for, the cars are paid for. Yeah, I got to do something with that. But there's going to be a card game. Okay. You guys are going to go get the safe. You're going to open it up. You're just going to deal the cards. Everybody gets some gold, right? And then the business will go to my 12-year-old. My 23-year-old already will have her business. My son, I'm still working on him. But it's really hard to convince a ski bum that he can make a living doing this. He goes, I know it works because I see you do it. And I see the things that you've been able to get because of this. And he goes, I just don't get it. I know it works. I just don't get it. And it took her a while too. I've been talking to her about this since she was 20. I don't push. I acquired both of them in position when they were 18. But I didn't push them. I was just like, when you're ready, I'll be right here. And about a month ago, maybe 2, she starts hinting around, and so we go to the beach for 10 days. And I said, hey, let's stay a couple more days. And she says, I can't, I've got to go back to work. I said, You're not going to have to say that. And 6 months from now, you're going to be going, oh, let's go just wherever. Let's go to New York City. Let's go do something, because I can work my business from my phone. I don't need to be in an office every day, in a cubicle every day. And that's what she is. She sits in a cubicle every day.
Why do you want everybody to know about this?
Why?
Yeah, just a real quick, simple, fast answer. Why is this so important for everybody to know about?
Because our mission is to save the world 1 gram of gold at a time. Because every time that somebody takes their currency, I don't care if it's a US dollar or a pound or any other currency in the world, every time they exchange it for gold, they stop inflation in its tracks. So why would I not want to tell people about it? That's the question. Why would you not want to tell somebody about it? Because what you can buy with an ounce of gold today, you could buy the same thing with an ounce of gold. And I love to tell this story. All right, I'll tell a story.
They stop inflation in its tracks. I just wanted to point out those words. Most people don't know what that means. But for the people who understand, you stop inflation in its tracks. That's all we should have to say.
That's all we should have to say.
But go ahead.
And here's the story. In 1935, an ounce of gold was $35, right? And in 1935, you could take $35 or an ounce of gold, and you could buy yourself the finest suit. You could take your wife to a dinner, a show, put gas in the car, and have a fantastic evening, right? So you fast forward to today, an ounce of gold is whatever an ounce of gold is. I don't keep up with it. I just think
it's right around $1,250 right now.
Okay, so for $1,250, you can still get the nice suit and take your wife out to dinner and all of that, the stuff that we did with the $35. But that $35, fast forward to today, will get you into the movies and split a popcorn and a Coke.
And it certainly won't buy an ounce of gold.
No.
To be honest, it'll buy about a half a gram of gold.
Right, exactly. So anyway.
So because they printed so much money. They just printed as much as they want to print, and so it becomes less and less and less valuable, and it takes more and more of it to accomplish the same thing.
Right, and that's what people don't understand. It's inflation, and we're stopping it.
We should have 2% inflation a year. That's healthy.
No, it's not. Now, when you're not getting a 2% raise from your job.
You could buy a pair of shoes in 1776, and that same pair of shoes cost the same amount of money in 1912. What's changed?
Nothing.
Got the Federal Reserve, and we started printing money.
Which is so funny, because there's nothing federal about it, and there is no reserve.
It's 100% communism, if you want to be blunt. Read Marx's book on communism and the 10 pillars of communism. Right there it is. And what it does is it destroys people. We are living in poverty today. People see, oh, well, look, our houses are nicer than ever. We got electricity, we got plumbing, we got fancy cars, we got 2 or 3 cars. What do you mean we're living in poverty? We're not living in poverty. We are living in poverty because it's all a facade. Yes, you have the house, but the bank owns the house, and yes, you have a job and you work for paper, but you can't even control your own income, because whoever controls the paper can control your income, whether you realize it or not.
It's true.
As opposed to if you went back in time, I like to read books from the 17 and 1800s, and people had money. They had real wealth. They traveled. They did. Look at the houses they built and how they lived and how they dressed. Yeah, our houses are nicer and bigger, but we're living on credit and debt. They had real money and real wealth, and people today don't understand the difference.
Right, and we can bring that to the world if we just inform enough people. You
preach to the ones that get it, and the ones that don't, you just pray for and go on.
Pray for them and go on. As Ty Beth says, tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me quick, because I got to go.
But the ones of us that get it can make a tremendous amount of money here, can we not?
Absolutely.